Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the benefits of cross-promotion on social media to grow your business. Before I introduce our speakers, I wanted to remind you of a few housekeeping items. We ask that everyone remain muted throughout the presentation. If you have questions for our speakers, please type them in the chat feature, and I will facilitate them at the end of our session. A recording of today's session and the slides will be made available later today on our social media platforms and on the South Lake Strong page of our website. We are really excited to have Jacqui Peterson of Splash Social Marketing and Lindsay Dukic of Mighty Clean Cans with us today to share some practical tips. Lindsay and Marco started Mighty Clean Cans 1 year ago today and have a booming business that recently expanded into pressure washing. Lindsay runs their social media platforms, which truly gives you a look into their daily schedule as well as their family. Splash Social Marketing has more than 20 years of internet and social network marketing experience, servicing small local businesses, politicians, celebrities, and corporations. Although they are a mom and pop business, Jacqui and Tom have worked with national brands with clients in the US, UK, and Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacqui Peterson.
Hi, everybody. First, I want to start by saying thank you to the Chamber for inviting us to speak here today. As many of you know, social marketing for business is such an important part of your overall marketing strategy. And I think that probably has never been more important than it is today. When we're limited, we can't do our face-to-face networking. Everything has to change, and more is coming online. Engagement is up, reach is up. So now is the time to fully embrace social marketing. And let's see, so you guys could, oh no, I didn't share my screen. Let me share my screen. I had that. 1 second. Is it shared? Can you guys see it? I can't hear anyone.
Yes, it's shared.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at nothing. Okay, so as Amanda said, we are talking about the benefits of, well, I had said cross promotion. That was my bad. I'm really talking about co-branding on social marketing. And I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, so we're Splash Social Marketing. Amanda did a great job introducing us, so I'm going to skip over most of this. I did think Tom was going to be here with me today, but you are just getting me. I think you're still in good hands. And let's move right along because our time is limited today, and I'm going to talk a lot in generalities. A lot of what I say, if we drill it down, there are some different things, but I think for most of us, the generalities are going to cover it. So just bear in mind that some of what I say might be a little bit different for some businesses. But basically, there are 3 terms that a lot of people in business use interchangeably. It really expresses the same message, and probably nobody would notice or even care unless you're a marketer. But I just wanted to start with explaining what those are. The first is cross-posting. When you have a business and you set up your social marketing, typically you have more than one page. You'll have your Facebook page, your Instagram page, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, however many pages is right for you guys. Cross-posting means you make one post. You write one post, let's say you put it on Facebook, you have the text, you have the image, and then you take that same exact content and you put it on one of the other channels, one of the other pages, or all of the other pages. That's cross-posting. Cross-promotion is just a little bit different. You're still sharing that same exact message on your different platforms, but you're altering it so that it's really optimized for each page. So maybe you've made a post on Facebook, and it's more than the 280 characters that Twitter allows you to have. So you go in and you alter it, you change the wording a little bit, maybe you use ampersands, you use some emojis, things that are more friendly on Twitter, but you put that same exact message on the different platforms. Co-branding is what I really want to talk about today. And that's when you have 2 or more businesses, brands, collaborating over a service or a topic. And this is something that Tom and I talk about all the time, and a lot of the business owners that we we work with, or not just work with, but in our business community, have that same sense, whether they're doing it digitally or not. This is what a lot of us try to do to help one another be successful, right? We network, we get to know one another, and then when we're out speaking with other business owners, we look for opportunities where maybe we can share information about these other businesses that we're working with. So co-branding is just bringing that into the digital, into the digital space. So what are the benefits? Why do we want to co-brand? And I've had people ask me, say, wait, I'm trying to build my business. Why am I going to put information about somebody else's business on my Facebook or my LinkedIn? You know, I want people to know me, not anybody else. But let's think about this. The first benefit is your target audience. When you are doing your marketing, everybody should know who their audience is, right? Who is going to use your service. So let's say my business is a yoga studio. I know my target audience is people of a certain age range. Maybe they have a certain income level. They live maybe 10 miles around my studio because people aren't going to travel from far. Their interest might be health and fitness. So I'm actively marketing and building my social following to that audience. Now, let's say there's a business 3 miles away. Maybe it's a health food store. They likely have very similar target audience, right? It's going to be people with interest in health and fitness. They're going to live in that same geographic location and likely to have the same income level. So instead of putting a message out there and hoping that it finds its way to people that might be interested in your product, your service, when you collaborate with this other business, it's basically a warm lead. You're talking to people that very likely are going to have an interest in your product or service as well. Maybe somebody from that health food store says, hey, I like what these people are saying. Yoga is not really for me, but chances are that person has a lot of friends who have the same interests as well. Maybe they'll share it with somebody who likes yoga. So it's a great way to grow your following organically. So just a little side note, there's always a lot of talk about growing your following. How many followers do you have on Facebook? How many followers do I need to be successful? How many is important, but it's not as important as the quality. If you have 1,000 followers for your yoga studio, but 900 of them live out of state, it's doing very little for your business, right? Maybe there's somebody there that knows somebody in your local area. Maybe they'll see the message, but really that large number is doing nothing for you. You would be better to have 200 people right here in your local area, and you can help facilitate growing that list by doing the co-branding. Email lists. You're talking to that target audience. You can reach out to that target audience and see if they want to join your email list. So now you're not just reaching them on your social channels, but through your email. I guess I sort of jumped ahead to the social followers, but when somebody at this, going back to my example, at the health food store, they follow the health food store, they see a post that they like that I've made because I've tagged the other store. Now maybe they'll click over to my page and they'll become my follower as well. And the last point that I wanted to make is about community involvement. I kind of started there, that we are a community. In order for our business to succeed, the businesses around us need to succeed. We need this to be a vibrant whole community. So if I can help facilitate marketing for other businesses near me, that is likely to help my business grow as well. Okay, so how do we do this? Now, I started off by saying for most of us, we simply use that @ feature or a hashtag. This is where the generalities start to come in. If you're a big brand like Nike, this is not necessarily for you, but for most of us, the businesses at our size, this is what's going to apply to us. Just to get everybody on the same page very quickly, that @ sign, that's tagging. When you write, and I'm going to just speak about Facebook. When you type in Facebook and you type out, thank you, I want to thank the Southlake Chamber of Commerce for inviting us to speak. I'm going to write thank you at Southlake Chamber FL, and that's going to tag the chamber to let them know that my business page has talked about them. It not only does it let that person, the other business, know that you've spoken about them, but it becomes a hot link to their page. So if somebody is reading my post and says, oh, I want to learn about Southlake Chamber of Commerce, all they have to do is click on that link right in my post, and it brings them to the page. The hashtag simply is to categorize. Maybe you're saying, oh, you know what, I'm interested in health and fitness, and I'm going to put in the hashtag health and fitness and see what comes up. You'll see some posts from whoever's used that hashtag. So it might be the yoga studio, it might be a health food store. We want each page to share content from their partner. So I put up an example here of what we posted, what Splash Social Marketing posted when we decided to do this webinar. And you can see examples of what I was talking about. Okay, so here we are. Please register for our webinar and join us. Our friends at Mighty Clean Cans. Now, if this wasn't a slide, if I was actually on a live screen, I could click right here and it would bring me to the Mighty Clean Cans Facebook page. So that was using our the tagging. And you see here, Lindsay was notified that Splash Social Marketing mentioned their page, and she jumped on and made a comment here. So that's the way we can go back and forth and help one another. And the chamber is awesome at this. When they are always taking posts from their members' pages and bringing it over onto the Southlake Chamber page, or tagging from their page over to the other page to help grow their followings and help getting people interested in it. When you write content on your page, come right out and recommend that your followers become their followers. So Mighty Clean Cans and our target audiences overlap only a little bit. They can work with residential, with just the B2B, B2C, whereas my business is only B2B, but we still overlap a little bit. And so when I make a post and people are going to my page, there may very well be people that could use their service, and vice versa. Now, that's the benefits of doing it, the why you're doing it, and kind of how to do it here. But we're going to move on to events, or when you can co-brand, okay? I say as often as possible, going back to everything that I talked about with the community involvement and making us a successful business community. We're out together a lot. Our business community, there's a good portion. Our chamber is very active. We're out together a lot. Take pictures together. And when you post it on your social media, on your page, make sure that you're tagging not just the individual name, but the individual business page as well. Congratulate people on achievements. You see that they've done something, maybe they've won one of the Best of Southlake awards. Make a post about it. Congratulate them. Help spread the word on the success that they're having. Information, education, whatever you can do whenever there's an opportunity to share about somebody else in our community, that's when you do it. Events is another big one, kind of like what we're doing here today with exactly what we're doing here today, where we're collaborating on a webinar. I put up an example of an in-person event that I did with Glenn Holcomb of Mighty Manatee IT back in October, it looks like. And I did put this up so I could show you a few things. when you are creating an event on Facebook, I'm going to go over here. When you're putting in your information, there is a section on the left where you can add co-hosts. You will put in the name of the page. Now, no one else is going to see this, but Facebook will send an invite to that other page and ask if they want to become a co-host. Once they accept that, then this is what people will see on their page. Okay, so we had obviously Splash Social Marketing, we had Mighty Manatee, we added Vitech Lab because they were nice enough to give us let us use their facility to do our seminar. And we also put Goombas here because we ordered the food from it. So every business that touched this seminar in one way, we added as hosts so that people will see it. When you go down in the event, it'll show more information about each business. So it's a great way of sharing and again, getting that information out here. And if you see up here on the left, again, if this wasn't a slide, if it was live, we would be able to click over to each and every one of these businesses. So as I said, I know our time is limited, so I rushed through a lot and I spoke in generalities, but this is an overview of how we can co-brand and really work with one another to build all of our businesses successfully here. And with that, I am going to pass this over to Lindsay, and we're going to take questions at the end.
Hi guys, I'm Lindsay, and my husband Marco and I own Mighty Clean Cans. We're right here in Claremont. Thank you to Amanda and Jackie for including me. Just a quick background, how we got into trash can cleaning. We clean and sanitize residential and commercial trash containers, and now we're doing pressure washing. So my background before all this was in marketing. I have my bachelor's in marketing, and I've always had an interest in social media. My husband was in the waste industry and found that there was a need for trash can cleaning. I thought he was literally crazy when he told me he wanted to do this, but I went all in with him, and we have created something pretty cool this past year. I will tell you about 90% of our customer base, our reoccurring customers, have come from Facebook and Instagram. So I just wanted to talk about today, kind of highlight our personal experience through what I call our 4 pillars of creating like a solid social media presence. So I'm going to go through each of those 4 pillars with you and kind of talk about how we were able to get our business off the ground, primarily just using social media. And with what Jackie said, I'll touch on that too, because community outreach is a huge part of our business. So the first pillar is educating your customers about your business. So when we started, this service is so new to pretty much everybody. A lot of people never heard of it. So my biggest task with social media was we had to show people why they needed our service and why they needed us. So what will they gain from using our service? Why are we unique? But we had to do this in like a clean and simple form. So what I did was I posted videos of our, if you see on our Facebook page, we have a big truck. It cleans and sanitizes the cans, and I posted videos of that repetitively, showing people we clean and we sanitize, which is very relevant with everything going on now, and showed them what's in it for them. So I wanted to answer that on a personal level. Having our service will help keep your cans clean. They will protect your family from germs. So once people understood that need, then we started to see people coming on board. So we posted repetitively on Facebook and Instagram. I will say that you can, once you established why your customer needs your service or your company, then we can move on to the second pillar, which is creating a compelling brand. So this has pretty much been the basis of our brand. We got a lot of pushback in the beginning when we started our business. When we told people we clean trash cans, they were absolutely shocked that we would do something like that. I think that's the planes flying over, if you hear that in the background. They just laughed. So I wanted to show them who our family was behind our brand. We don't just clean trash cans. We're a family from Claremont. We have 2 little girls. I wanted people to see the reason why we were doing what we were doing. So creating a compelling brand through social media and your posts requires relatability and transparency and vulnerability. And I have always struggled with this because when you're on social media, it's truly up to you how much you want to put out there. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable with putting as much out there as we do, and I know my husband kind of was very hesitant in the beginning to put out there as much as we do, but putting out our family and showing how we're all in this business together really created a loyal following for us, and it made people relate to us. We're a young family. My husband was in corporate and got completely burnt out, and this is why we started our journey to entrepreneurship. Here we are. That's pretty much how I positioned us, and that vulnerability created a very loyal customer base, and they liked to see like where we started from and where, you know, we're going. So relatability, they want to connect. People want to connect so bad, especially nowadays that we literally can't physically connect. People want to be a part of your story. And that kind of connection will create loyalty, which creates reviews. I'm pretty proud to say that we've gotten over 300 reviews in a year through Facebook and Google. And that's just, I truly believe that's just from repetitively pushing how much it means to us that people are connected with us and our service, and people want to help you succeed. They want to see you be vulnerable. So one way we do this is I do a post on our Facebook called Soul Sunday, and it's more of a blog post, and it can be anything. It usually talks about like what we're struggling with the business or an accomplishment we've created. And I know it's hard for people to put themselves out there, but I realized that with these posts on our Facebook and our Instagram, it's really helped people share a sense of community, which is like what Jacqui was talking about. Our customers share that sense of community with us. And those posts have really been our most liked posts, our most far-reaching posts. So I think there's something to be said for that. As far as going along with that, with relatability and vulnerability, we did something special with our social media and our customer group. I've created a private Facebook group called our MCC Insiders, and they're customers of ours. And what we do is we put it out there and say, you know what, we don't have all the answers. We don't really know what we're doing all the time, and that's okay. And we need your help, and we want you to be a part of this. So we've put together a group that goes and collaborates, and if I have an idea for like pressure washing, then we'll do polls, and we'll do give me your opinion on this, and we just keep people interested in what we're doing with the business. So we put them in our shoes. So part of putting customers in your shoes is to create stories on Facebook and Instagram. And I can walk anybody through that would want to do that. But stories stay up on in your stories on the top of Facebook and Instagram for 24 hours. So what we like to do with that is we take our customers through our day. We show them our behind the brand, basically. We'll show them like our before and afters of our day, the trash cans. If I'm doing something with our girls at the shop, just anything that seems mundane to you because you do it every day is not going to be mundane to your viewers. They want to see what's going on in your life. They want to see what work you're putting in behind the scenes, because if you have a product or a service, all they see is that final service or product. They don't see what you're doing, and people really like that. The more you more audience you'll get. When I started first posting in our stories, we got maybe 20 people viewing. Now we have between 100 and 150 views of our story. So it's that repetitiveness. And like I said, people are craving connection more than ever. So this is a way to connect with your customers and your followers. So the third pillar, which is what Jacqui talked about, and this is my favorite part of having a small business, is the community outreach. One way we did this was right away we joined the chamber. And that is something where we've been able to create these meaningful connections with small businesses, because otherwise we wouldn't have met them. So just if you're here, you're already taking the first step, you're connecting. Support local was always our mantra from the start. We prioritized partnering with people, and Jacqui just hit it out of the park with that. We don't partner with other businesses expecting anything in return ever. It's genuinely, we like to find good businesses that share the same values, that share the same goals. They're usually families like ours, and we like to surround ourselves with good people, because at the end of the day, you helping somebody is also getting your name out there, and that's not even why you're doing it, but it helps everybody involved. So one way that I found to do that specifically was through our Small Business Saturday posts. So what I like to do is find businesses that we've either worked with, or that are customers of ours, or that are part of the chamber, and we ask them to, I basically write an article on them. It has nothing to do with us, and it really has nothing to do with their product offerings as much as I like to focus on their behind the brand, because like I was telling you with the relatability, people like to see who you are, not just what you're selling. They like to see who you are. So I will send them questions, and some of the questions I ask are, why did you start this? What makes you different from other businesses? What's your biggest struggles? That vulnerability again. And so they fill out their questions, and then we create an article on them. So I will give you some examples. We had an auto detailer that I did, and I posted on their page, and they shared my article on their page, and then we shared it on the Claremont Raves and Reviews page, and we got it out there, and it reached thousands of people, and they ended up getting like 15 new customers just off of that post alone. Thank you. So, and then we just did this with another company, a sprinkler company, and they told me that they just got 10 new customers based off of our post alone. So this is what it's about. That's exactly what it's about. And you know, if it gets our name out there, great, but it's also helping our entire community, which we absolutely need right now on a local level. So that's what I like to do with that. And we like to also jump on opportunities to give back. So with those Small Business Saturday posts, we will do a giveaway sometime. If it's like a restaurant, we'll buy a gift card from that restaurant and offer it to our followers, and they have to like both our pages and then comment and tag, and that helps get the word out too. That's a good way to do that. And you don't always have to do that. Sometimes it's about just sharing the story. So the other thing we like to do is we like to set up strategic partnerships with other small businesses. So we had bought another truck. We grew pretty quickly in the first 6 months, and we needed to expand, and we wanted to celebrate that. So we bought a truck, and I reached out to a local company called Snowmows. You probably have seen them. They're a shaved ice company in Claremont. And we asked them if they would partner with us at the Claremont Farmers Market, and we would give out a free snow cone to any of our MCC customers. So what we did was we worked with them. We set up a thing where we bought the snow cones for our customers. Our customers came out. They got to meet Snowmows, which was great for them. We got to interact with our customers, and all of us, our customers, Snowmows, us, we all got to be together, and that's the community part of this. And then Snowmows shared on their page, and they took we have little postcards we pass out. They have our postcards still at their shop, and they give those out. So wherever we can find a strategic partnership, that's what we like to create. We also have another company we work with out of Winter Garden, a local lady. She makes our sanitizers. And like I said, with our insider group, those are her sanitizing scents are what we put up to polls for our customers to get involved. So we're creating this network of other small business, connecting people, so much so that I have customers that will just directly email me and be like, hey, I need a lawn mowing company. Do you have anybody you recommend? Because I know you do these posts. So that's awesome to me that people trust us enough to know that the businesses that we're recommending are good ones. And it's a true customer experience is like, we always look at reviews, right? You always want a good review. And I feel like people in our community know that we're trustworthy when it comes to finding good businesses, and that's kind of come back to us in that way. So with that being said, one last thing on community, it's not always about promoting like ourselves. Like I said, we like to eat out at local restaurants. So if you have like a good experience at a local restaurant, you post it on your business page. Like it doesn't have to be completely really, like it doesn't have to be strategic. Like the examples I just gave, like we love Ikaho Sushi in Groveland. We go there all the time. If we have a good experience there, like I'll post about it on our business page and just say thank you and share the food. And like I have special dietary restrictions and I thank them for working with me on that. And then that got them more business because other people had. So wherever you can help because it's genuine. Don't expect anything in return, but I promise you that it all comes back around for sure. So with that being said, my last point, and this is important, is communicate. There is so much redundancy you have to do on Facebook. Just because you post something once on Facebook or Instagram, you're not even gonna hit your target market, not even close. So like I said in the beginning, we had to put videos out there constantly about what we do, about why we do it. And it may seem repetitive to you, but I promise you that it's not. So for example, we had a customer the other day tell me, I've been following you guys on Facebook for a couple months and you know, I love your posts and I just was on the fence about it. And then I saw my neighbor signed up for your service and then I saw your truck. And so they say it takes 7 times to hear, you know, to see something before it's acted on. And that's absolutely the case with our business. So there's so much information out there. People are so saturated. You need to just keep pushing and pushing. So what does this look like in terms of your social media? It's what Jackie talked about. It's about posting, cross-posting on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you find that you're hitting your audience, post. And that we try to post every day, if not every other day. And I post based on our behind the brand or showing our process or our community outreach under those examples to switch things up. And as far as communicating, respond to posts. So if you post something about your service or your business and somebody says, oh my gosh, I love your business, I love what you're doing, respond. I've seen so many companies that don't respond to people taking the time to share what a great experience they have. People will not do it again. They won't. It means so much when somebody takes the time, especially with everything going on now and how crazy it is. If somebody takes the time to post that they had a good experience with you, always say thank you. Show gratitude because that person will then go above and beyond for you. I've seen it a million times. We had a customer that I thanked for leaving a review. Somebody commented on one of the ads we were running on Facebook, and that customer responded at midnight, and I was sleeping, responded to another potential customer's question. Like, that's so above and beyond. They gave them the link to our website. Like, this is what I'm talking about with the loyalty of our customer base. And it's because we show, I believe it's because we show gratitude and we're genuinely thankful for people pushing our business. And I think if you show that gratitude, then you are going to be so far ahead and people will help you. So my last piece of advice, what worked well for us is read your audience. Instagram and Facebook are very similar. They're very similar, but in my experience, Instagram tends to be our younger demographic. So I will post, sometimes I post different things in our Instagram stories versus our Facebook stories. I'll do more personal things on Facebook or on Instagram, I'm sorry, instead, just to hit our target market sometimes a little better. So really be aware of who you're talking to. Like Jackie said, be aware of your audience. Be aware of who is viewing your stories, who is viewing your posts. There's like analytics you can see on Facebook to show you who your demographics are with that. So last thing with communication, like I said already, is get people involved. However you can get potential customers involved, get them involved, whether it's through giveaways, through leaving reviews, through asking for their opinion. People want to be involved. So I will just say, to wrap it up, educate your customers about your business. That's the first thing, foundational. Then create your compelling brand, create your behind the brand, why you're doing this. Show as much of that as you're comfortable with. Community outreach is the biggest part of all of this. Connect with people in the ways that I was speaking on, and then communicate. I hope this framework helps you. It's really been the cornerstone of everything we've done this past year, and I've created like a little note that I can send to you. It's a document that basically summarizes all this. If anybody is interested, I can leave you my email. So thank you so much, and I really appreciated the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Thank you, Lindsay. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get those over to them. My first question, Jacqui, can you talk a little bit about like your number of followers versus if they're like an engaged follower and what the difference is?
So your number of followers is just basically what you see is you'll say you have 100 followers, 500 followers, 1,000 followers. And again, the more followers you're talking to, the more opportunity you have to do business. But you have to remember that these platforms use an algorithm. So if you have 500 followers on Facebook, when you make a post, not all of those 500 followers are going to see that post. Facebook's algorithm is going to determine who is going to think it's relevant. So they might show that post to, let's say, 50 people. Out of 500, only 50 people might see it. This is where why it's important that you have those quality followers that I talked about earlier. You want people that are more likely to engage. Now you've reached out, you've touched 50 people that already know who you are. When you make a post, your goal is always to be engaging. You want people to comment, like Lindsay said. Likes are okay, comments are better, shares are great. When somebody comments or likes or engages with your page, now Facebook takes that algorithm and uses it on their friends. So it showed it to 50 of our followers. Maybe 20 of those people engaged with it somehow. And now Facebook will look at how many of those 20 people's friends they're going to show it to. Very likely that there's a lot of people in that number now who's never heard of us, who are now seeing our information and maybe will come back and like our page and become a follower for us. So when you're looking at your Facebook, yes, followers are important, but it's really important to drill down, look at each individual post, see how many people you're actually reaching, and see what type of engagement you're getting. And don't be afraid to put different types of content out there. You might think nobody's really interested in hearing this, and be surprised. You make a post and you get great engagement. Now you know the people that are interested in your business or your product like that type of content. Let's start tailoring more content like this one. So it's important to look at those analytics and see where you're getting the engagement, which ones aren't working. You never fail, you learn. Maybe you put out a few posts and you're getting no engagement or very little engagement. Now you know that's not what people are interested in. Try something else. Just keep putting content out there until you get those engaged followers. And that's how you're going to really organically grow for your target audience.
This question's for both of you. How do you reach out to other businesses as well as more community outreach?
Lindsay, you want to?
Yeah, so like I said, we joined the chamber right away. The chamber has awesome events that you a lot of the small businesses that we continue to work with. Also, social media. I can't tell you how many people that I found through reviews and through just looking up like best pizza place or whatever, and then ending up being customers of theirs and then reaching out and be like, hey, we have a small business too. This is what we do, and connecting with them that way. We also did events like Taste of South Lake and met a lot of great people there. So it's all about just and it's uncomfortable for sure. When we first went to our first chamber event, I was literally, it takes you out of your comfort zone until you do it. You just have to do it and get out there. And people are so forgiving because they feel the same way for sure. And you just have to put yourself out there at those events and those kind of things for sure.
And I think a big point that Lindsay made earlier is if you're doing this without the expectation of anything in return and you're being genuine, then people are going to be receptive to you. So if you walk up to somebody at an event and say, hey, I think I can get a lot of business if I use your business name, who wants to be involved with that, right?
Right.
So you say, hey, I thought of a great way that I can help support your business. People are going to listen and they'll want to get involved. When you do co-branding on Facebook, you are literally giving those other businesses free marketing. You are marketing to your entire audience who hopefully has some overlap with their target audience. And it's either free for you or you're paying to do an ad, but you're including them. You're giving them free marketing. So know how to phrase it too. Know the value of what you're presenting. And if some people don't get it. Some people don't understand that there's room for all of us to be successful. They don't necessarily understand how social marketing works. So don't let the no's get to you. There's going to be a lot more yeses. And this chamber specifically is just so amazing. The people that are active in this chamber really sincerely want to help one another. So if you're not having success with the co-branding or reaching out to do these different types of in-person events like Lindsay was saying, come talk to those people that you see are very active in the chamber. We're going to know who to plug you into and with who are people who are actively looking to involve each other in that community involvement.
Next question, is it important how polished your content is? For example, editing pictures or video, music, good writing, etc.
As far as that, I would say yes, to an extent. It is important how your words come across because that's what people are reading. It needs to be, like I was saying, genuine. Being genuine is way more important than having something super polished, because people are smart. They can tell when something is genuine and real versus when something is like, not. So that's like where this behind the brand comes in and showing your personality through your posts. So the more personable you can be doesn't mean it has to be polished. If you know what I'm saying? Like you want to show who you are as a business, not just your business, but your person. So it's getting your personality out through your social media. So it doesn't have to be super polished. As far as my posts, like the blog posts that I do on our Facebooks and like the Soul Sunday and the Small Business Saturday, yeah, those are super polished just because they're longer and they're more structured. But we have posts like with our daughters that we do that are not super structured or polished. And we have our daughters actually do videos and those are not polished at all. Those are absolutely raw. And honestly, those videos have gotten 500 to 1,000 views and they're not scripted. And those can be the best ones when they're not polished. People like real. So yeah.
I agree with that 100%. We always tell people this is social marketing. It's not commercial quality. You're not hiring a company to come in and create something that you would see on TV. This is more just person to person. So yeah, you want to make sure that you're representing your business well. If you're a lawyer, you want to make sure that the content you're putting up there as a lawyer is accurate. I would look at somebody in my business, I might look at their graphics and things and expect it to be maybe a little bit higher quality than somebody who, you know, an accountant or a bookkeeper or somebody who that's not your main business. So make sure that your business is represented well, and don't worry so much about the polish on everything else. And when you can put in personality, social media is the place to put it, and those are the posts that do great. I've stopped doing this, but I used to do every few days I would do lessons I learned from my dogs. I would catch my dog in an act doing something, and then I would relate it to a human lesson we learned from it. Nothing to do with marketing, but people loved that. And, you know, hopefully it reached out to some people that might have said, hey, I'm a dog person, I need marketing, I'm going to check them out. That's the point of the whole behind the scenes.
Lindsay, could you talk a little bit about doing stories on Instagram and Facebook? Is there a certain amount that you think need to be posted? Do you find if you do over that amount, people start to fatigue out and not follow throughout?
Sure. So it's been trial and error with that for sure. I do try to post stories daily. You do not, in my opinion, what's worked for us, you do not need to post more than, 5 or 6 stories a day, because beyond that, unless it depends on the content, but like we can show, we can clean 70 cans that day and I can show 20 before and afters, and you're going to have the fatigue after 5 stories because people can only see so many trash cans. But if it's like on the weekend and I like to show what we're doing around town, I can post 10 or 15 and people stay engaged because it's exciting to see, something different, what we're doing in our life. So depending on the content, you can do more, but typically I try to stick to 5 or 6 stories a day. And you don't have to do them every day, but like I said, the more you can get yourself out there and the consistency, you'll see more of a larger audience watching your stories. But it's absolutely about quality of the story. Like I know which stories are going to get a lot of views versus what people are going to skip right past. So yeah, I would say 5 to 6 a day based on what you're doing with your business. But like I said, on the weekends, I like to show our family and what we're up to when we're not working. And honestly, those get the most engagement. So.
Jacqui, do you have anything to add to that?
It doesn't, you don't have to just focus on what you're doing in the day. I love what Lindsay does with showing throughout the day, but you might be working on a project and show something, here's step 1 of what we're doing. And it might be 2 or 3 days later that you're at step 2. Granted, they only stay on stories for 24 hours, but you just give a quick reminder. We were on the other day, we showed you step 1, here's step 2. You can bring them throughout the entire journey in stories as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does anyone have any additional questions? Otis put a note in here for everyone to know. They are adding a slot with Give a Day Foundation when they start back with their volunteering for picture taking and posting, where volunteers can get credit hours. So if anyone's in need, feel free to reach out to Otis. And then, like we said earlier, everything is going to be posted on our social media channels later. We'll have the slides. Lindsay, if you could send over that document you were talking about, we'll go ahead and put that up as well. And then the video of this presentation. So if there are no other questions, I want to say thank you to Lindsay and Jacqui for being with us today. And we hope you guys can join us tomorrow. We have the Empowered NPO at 9 o'clock with Nancy Cummings. Other than that, have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.